and Dale Carter. We'll hear from this dangerous duo later in game day. Also, we'll pick Tennessee at number 10, Florida, tonight on ESPN. These are the only two teams still unbeaten in the conference. For almost a year, the Gators have had to live with the humiliation of a 45-3 blowout in Knoxville. They badly want payback. And since Steve Spurrier arrived, the Gators are 8-0 in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida Field. Average score in those games, 43-8. It'll be a mob scene there tonight. And that'll be just fine with Tennessee's dynamic duo, Carl Pickens and Dale Carter. Both are All-Americans, highly thought-of draft prospects. They are very fast, very good, and as Charlene Hawks found out, very unafraid to let you know it.
I love to make guys miss me when they come at full speed trying to hurt me, because I know if the guy comes at full speed trying to hurt me, I know he's not going to get a good solid hit off me.
You know, if we need a score, or, you know, a lot of times it may be 30, 14, 15, I pretty much know that I'm going to get the ball.
But the Vols haven't been looking Pickens' way forever. As a freshman in 1989, he had almost as many interceptions as pass receptions. Midway through the year, Pickens was summoned to help out a beleaguered secondary at free safety. With 5 interceptions in 5 games in 1989, Pickens could have emerged as a full-time two-way threat in 1990. But Carl didn't come here to play free safety. He came hoping to follow the outstanding Tennessee receivers of the past, players like Willie Gault, Anthony Miller, Tim McGee, Stanley Morgan. Well, Carl has become one of the elite ever since two-time junior college All-American Dale Carter became a volunteer and put an end to Carl's 2 platoon days.
I came on a visit here and I saw Pickens at a basketball game, and he told me, he said,
Dale, you know, if you come here, you can play free safety, because I don't want to do it anymore.
The results have been dramatic. Freed from the strain of playing both sides of the ball, Pickens has blossomed over the last 2 seasons into All-America material.
I know if he's halfway open and if I can get the ball close to him, then more times than not, he's going to come down with the ball. Carter's
impact has been equally dramatic. He led the nation in kickoff returns last year and has turned Tennessee's secondary into one of the stingiest in the SEC. But it's not just their physical skills that make this dynamic duo tick. It's their competitive fire.
I enjoy going across the middle.
I love competition, and I love to play ball.
I enjoy blocking as a receiver. Most receivers don't do that.
I love to make guys look silly.
I'm not really strong, but, you know, I can slam a couple of guys.
My goal is to flat him, you know, because I love going out, making big hits.
He'll hit a 250-pounder, 230-pounder. He's not afraid of anything. He has no respect for his own body.
He's not really that big, but he's not afraid to go on and take a hit.
You know, guys be looking at me like, wow, you know, he's crazy.
But he knows when it's time to play, and that's the thing I like about him.
If you can cover Carl Pickens in practice, you can cover anybody in the game.
So when you guys go one-on-one, who wins?
I do.
Yeah, but there was holding there in that play. Throw the flag on him in practice. He had to hold him to contain Pickens. Now, what about tonight, Lee? We know that the Florida Fun and Gun has been struggling for them. The last 9 times inside the 20, only 2 touchdowns. Now, what do they have to do to score in Tennessee?
Well, Chris, the key to Florida's winning will be their pass protection. Watch Florida to keep a back in to help protect against that tremendous pass rush from Tennessee. Tennessee, on the other hand, is going to smash them. They're going to go right at them, attack Florida in the inside, and try to keep the ball away from the Florida offense. Plus, John May just told me that he had 6 special plays, trick plays, ready for the Gators.
Now, we can't get carried away and say that this game is for the Sugar Bowl. The SEC is always a wild race.
Yeah, you're right. I talked to both coaches, and both of them reminded me of a fact, that the team that lost this game last year, Florida, would have gone to the Sugar Bowl if they hadn't been on probation. So it's a long SEC season.
But a Florida loss knocks them out of the national title race. The Vols' title shots would really be hampered by a loss in this one. In close games, remember, I know you always like the home team, but Andy Kelly is superb in that situation. Last 8 minutes when the Vols are behind or tied, Kelly is 40 of 54. He's led them to 7 late scoring drives. Okay. Now, that game tonight on ESPN. Today in Columbia.
In Florida. I think Tennessee, from a national standpoint, has been overlooked. Because of the probation people thought would come down, it did, and the sanctions were light. And because of the tough win they had, they nearly lost at home to Mississippi State. They're really a powerful ball club.
And they're going to have to be powerful. They're playing Steve Spurrier at Florida Field. He's 8-0, and the Gators have outscored their opponents 43-8 at Florida Field. They're tough there.
Now there's a
There's that split 60.
Franklin and Mike Gottfried in Gainesville.
Thanks, Chris. This week we have a truly great one out of the Southeastern Conference. The Florida Gators playing host to the Tennessee Volunteers. Mike Gottfried, I want to ask you about something that happened last year. 45-3 up in Knoxville. It's a total blowout. And at the end of the game, the Tennessee players started the Gator, and then the fans took it up. And I don't think the Gator fans appreciated that very much.
Well, I'm sure the Florida coaches and fans and players have all talked about it this week. But one thing about this game, it'll be won tonight on the field.
But a little bulletin board material, no less.
I'm sure.
Because earlier this week, we had a chance to talk with Carl Pickens, the great All-American wide receiver for Tennessee, and got his reaction. He said they won't forget for sure.
They're not going to forget the score of last year's game. You know, they have a lot riding on it, probably more than we do, knowing that, you know, the last time we played each other that they lost. So they're going to try to redeem themselves and beating us, knowing that we got to come down there and play them in a hostile environment.
Carl Pickens, the great one from Tennessee. Mike, you made a statement that you thought that he is the toughest wide receiver on a defense that you've seen in college football in a decade.
Ron, I think he's the most dominant wide receiver I've seen in the last 10 years. He makes defensive coaches change their strategy. You have to really play two people on Carl Pickens. He's such a long ball threat. He has great hands. He runs well. He's just a big play receiver. In this ball game, in this play you're going to see here, look at the coverage against him. The corner rows up weak. You have the safety over the top. You have a linebacker in his face. You almost have to cover him. You have to put a blanket on him. You just don't want to leave the stadium and say, Carl Pickens beat me.
Because he has done that this year and also last year as well. So Chris and Lee, whether you enjoy seeing this right here and you cheer for the Gators or you like to hear Old Rocky Top, we'll have it for you at 7:30 Eastern Time from Gainesville. It's the Gators against the Volunteers.
All right, fellas, we certainly look forward to that one. That's going to be a frenzied atmosphere. Yeah. You know, since Steve Spurrier got to Florida, the Gators are 8-0. Average score in those games, 43-8. But the offense has really been struggling for Florida, at least for them.
And the reason is their pass protection has had problems. Watch for Florida in this ball game to keep it back in to help the offensive line to protect against the Tennessee pass rush. Also in this game, watch for Tennessee to change their strategy and go right at Florida and attack them. And Majors has 6 trick plays ready. I think the team that has the most rushing yards in this game at the end of the game will win the game.
Tennessee, though, must stay close. Otherwise, that power smash mouth style is not going to work when they're trailing. Okay, we'll look forward to that one at the bottom of the hour when we come back on the radio.
Campus across America. These two proud universities, Tennessee and Florida, have their own sets of heroes and legends. Some, like Florida's Steve Spurrier and Tennessee's Johnny Majors, have even reached the level of immortality. So much so that all it takes is a helmet, or a trophy, or a photograph, and the mind floods with warm memories and glorious deeds as the gray ghosts of the past come alive again.
And tonight, there are those Volunteers and Gators who are modern-day gridiron gladiators, whose efforts will be the core of tomorrow's legends. Athletes like Tennessee's Carl Pickens, Dale Carter, Florida's Shane Matthews, Brad Culpepper, who take the present tense and punctuate it with speed, poise, power, and emotional intensity, and somehow make it happen all at once.
And when it happens, the atmosphere becomes much more than alive. The action far greater than just on the field. It's a carnival, and the whole night pulsates with anticipation and electricity. It's on nights like this when it all comes together. The tradition, the athlete, the spectacle. They all collide with such energy that your senses scream. Right here, right now. ESPN presents Tennessee versus Florida.
love to draw.
Matthews reports to gate 4. John Matthews to gate 4. David Collins reports to gate 4. David Collins to gate 4.
Florida Field, Gainesville, Florida. It seems like every Saturday night on CFA Prime Time we come up with a new record, and that's what they're predicting still again this evening. This will be the largest crowd ever to see a game in the state of Florida. Last year we were in Knoxville, Tennessee. The first half was about as close as you can get two teams, but it was Tennessee who blew it open. In the second half, they won by a decisive margin, 45-3. Let's go down to the field and get the temperature from the Florida bench. Here's Adrian Karsten.
Well, Ron, it is going crazy down here. Let me tell you something. Brad Culpepper, the outstanding defensive lineman for the Gators, is also the student body vice president. He went on a campaign this week. Campaign to fire up Florida Field because he doesn't want anyone to forget what happened last year.
It's been a year since we played up there.
Well, if 85,000 people and a few cheerleaders can crank up the volume on Brad's emotion, this crowd could control the game. Let's go over to the Tennessee sideline with Craig James.
Hey, Tennessee's used to playing in front of 96 or 97,000 fans, but that's in Knoxville in front of their own fans. Tonight, they'll have 80,000 cheering against them. But as star defensive end Chuck Smith says, it's really no big deal.
We're not going to be intimidated by anyone. We've got guys that have played for years here and have played against everyone, you know, Colorado's, Alabama's. We're not going to be intimidated by what they say or what their fans do. We're coming down there to play.
Tennessee says they're expecting a wild crowd. Now it's time to see how they'll respond. Ron.
Okay, Craig, we're all excited. Talk is over. Let's play football. Joey Chapman of Tennessee has it teed up, and you look at Kennedy and Houston, the two deep backs for the Gators. This will be Kennedy from the 5. Now let's meet the starters on offense, brought to you by Energizer. For the Florida Gators, those excellent defensive ends for Tennessee. Matthews on first down. Throws it complete. That's Rhett out of the backfield. And let's meet the starters for the Tennessee defense. Chris Mims, number 93. And we call his name a lot, along with number 56, Chuck Smith. It means it's a very long night for the Gators. Ernest Field, a part of a core of excellent linebackers. He leads the team in tackles. And in the secondary, also very experienced and good, great cover guy, Jeremy Lincoln. Incomplete. That is a shuttle pass. And right off the bat, Florida comes with a trick play, Mike, and we saw them work on that numerous times on Thursday.
Well, it's just like a pass, Ron, so it's really, it's just an incomplete pass. What they're trying to slow down early in this game is the Tennessee defense from their pursuit. Here you see the pitch out. There's the underneath handoff. It's just like a pass. It's an incomplete pass.
Sean Walker, number 45, is the man who broke it up. So it is third down, and the line to make for the Gators is the 42. Matthews tipped and intercepted by Tennessee. Number 5, Roderick Lewis, the sophomore from Mobile, Alabama. And a flag is down at the 32.
Ron, Florida with a good play call. They went to a no-back set, which really stretches the 4-3 defense of Tennessee. They had the receiver open. Shane Matthews threw the ball a little high.
Al Ford, the referee.
After the play was over, we had a personal foul against this team. It'll be first down and 25.
You're going to see Shane Matthews. No backs in the backfield, so they have everybody stretched out. Here's the pass. Little high. Roderick Lewis, number 5, is going to intercept it. Big break for Florida right here because they get a 15-yard penalty. So even though the ball's intercepted, it'll back them up 15 yards. There's the interceptions. Big break for Tennessee early.
Willie Jackson, number 22, is the man that the pass was intended for. So the Volunteers with the first big break of the night. The lone setback as they come out on offense is Kenneth Campbell. We'll check those starters after this play. Because it was a post-play foul following the interception, it is going to be first down and 25. And right now, let's take a look at the starters as Johnny Majors travels the sideline. Andy Kelly at quarterback tonight. Many say, so goes Kelly, so goes Tennessee. The wide receivers, well, guess who? Mr. Pickens. If it's Slim Pickens, it'll be a great night for the Gators. If it's Heavy Pickens, hang on. The Vols will love it. And up front, they got John Fisher back, the anchor at center. He had an ankle injury a couple of weeks ago when we did them against Auburn. Tonight, he is very close to 100% again. There's a look at Pickens.
Gator fans, the unlikely.
Ron, both teams want to establish the run tonight. Carl Pickens, who you see in your screen, he's as good a receiver as I've seen the last 10 years. He makes defensive coaches defend him. So you have to play at least a man and a half or 2 people on Carl Pickens. When you do that, that opens up the running game for James Stewart. It also works so it opens up the passing game to the other side to Faulkner, Craig Faulkner, and J.J. McCleskey.
The chain gang across the way, for some reason, had some problems in getting changed around. 15-yard penalty, as we mentioned, was marked off because of a personal foul after the pass had been intercepted. And let's take a look at the SEC standings and the obvious importance of this one. Florida, 3-0 in the conference. Tennessee, 2-0. And for the first time tonight, we see the Vols on offense. Kelly going to go long and has it complete to McCleskey at the 30-yard line. Good for 28 yards. And let's meet the starters on defense for the Florida Gators. It's a very good front four, however, go almost 100% again. He's very good. Fumble. Kelly gets back on it at the 35-yard line as James Street is the man, or Stewart, I should say, is the man he wanted to give the football to.
Tennessee spreads you out. Here you see the 6 people in the box for Florida on defense. When that's the case, Andy Kelly's going to check off to the run. Here's the draw. He just missed the handoff to number 33, James Stewart.
See those middle linebackers creeping up. Ball is fumbled from center again. James Stewart makes the recovery, and now let's check a marker down at the 36-yard line as Stewart also was shaken up a little bit when he made the recovery.
We've seen the same thing when we were here for the Alabama game. The noise is so great that it causes problems between the center and quarterback in an exchange.
And those guys are about as close as you can get.
Before the ball was snapped, we had a false start by the offense. It'll automatically have to take the penalty. Still be second down.
Well, there's the important point for Tennessee as you see the fumble again, is that even if that ball had been recovered by Florida, it would have been a no play, and it is still second down. The line to make, they need to go all the way to the 20.
Good screen down right now for Tennessee, or some kind of inside throw.
Stewart in the draw will take it to the 37 and 57. Kevin Carter, a freshman from Tallahassee, is there to ride him down. Now it will be third down for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Ron, Florida is an 8-man front football team. They play 8 people real close to the line of scrimmage. The most important people, I think, in this game tonight are the 2 outside linebackers, Myrick Anderson, number 26, Fee Bartley, number 44. How they move around and try to confuse Andy Kelly.
Running play, maybe one. Kevin Carter again. And listen to this ovation for the defense. Also, big number 71, Tony McCoy, gets up and leads some cheers. as Tennessee gets an interception, a personal foul penalty, and then a very stubborn Florida defense, and they will get nothing from the turnover.
One thing they will gain is field position if this guy punts it down inside the 10.
Hutton, the left-footed. This is very high. It's not going to make the end zone. Tennessee is surrounding it, and it goes out of bounds at the 5-yard line. So Florida has the ball back, but they will scrimmage very deep in their own territory. Let's take a break. 12:03 left in this opening quarter. Welcome back to Gainesville. The Gators dodged one right there, but they are going to have to scrimmage for their own 5-yard line as Rhett and McNabb come out as the running backs. No tight end. Alonzo Sullivan is flexed out at tight end on the left side. Matthews with the draw, and Rhett will take it maybe for one, and that's about it. You can see Smith coming from that outside linebacking position. Also, Hardy was in the area. Chuck Smith, a senior, he is from Athens, Georgia. And I think a lot of NFL scouts, Mike, are getting very excited about him every time they see him play.
Chuck Smith and Chris Mims are outstanding defensive ends. Mark White, number 60, and Tony Rowell, number 56. Both offensive tackles have a job ahead of them tonight.
Marker comes down, and you could see number 60, Mark White, just what Mike was talking about, come out of his stance a little bit early. And when you're playing against somebody who is very good and gets the big jump, you try for every advantage that you can. Sometimes it causes you to make a mistake, which they just did.
Movement by the offensive line, still second down.
The edge that you like to get as an offensive lineman when it's a passing situation is just to move back off the ball a little bit to help you with Chuck Smith. But if Florida's to have success throwing the football and Mark White can block Chuck Smith one-on-one, then they won't have to use a back or a tight end to help him in the pass blocking, and they'll be able to release those people as receivers.
Matthews caught for a safety. Chuck Smith.
Watch Chuck Smith. The defensive end just goes inside and beats the block of the offensive tackle to get the safety. Now, when you look at this, here's another look. Watch number 60. Mark White, he's beaten by Chuck Smith. Now, what happens here is, because of the interception, because of the good punt, they pinned Florida back inside their 5-yard line. They were able to get the safety. So, again, field position football, which Johnny Major is so well known for.
For people sitting at home saying, why did the tackle only give him a brush? They were setting up a screen to that side of the field, I think. I don't think they were looking for that much pressure from the middle, were they?
Well, I think what happened was that Chuck Smith surprised him with the inside rush. He came so hard inside, it looked like when we talked about trying to gain an edge to the outside, he may have planted his foot and put a little bit too much weight outside. Chuck Smith was able to come underneath.
Well, the next headache that Florida is confronted with is Dale Carter, number 18, because they will punt following the safety. And, of course, Carter is the man who haunted them last year with a second-half kickoff that broke the game wide open.
That's not good news when you see Chuck Smith being able to rush one-on-one situation like that. They're going to have to double-team him and maybe Chris Mims.
Fair catch is called for and made at the 33-yard line. Well, it's time now for a weekly presentation of the Toyota Leadership Award. And tonight's winners are, for the University of Tennessee, Sean Walker, a senior from College Park, Georgia. He's a volunteer at the Tennessee School for the Deaf and a literacy program at a local elementary school. And from the University of Florida, Brad Culver, all SEC. Toyota, pleased to donate $1,000 to each player's school's General Scholarship Fund. James Stewart right up the middle, and the results have been the same. You know, both number 33s tonight might have great credentials, but both have seen the same results tonight early going in this ball game, and that is there's just no place to run.
The key, Ron, first downs. If you can stop Tennessee and Tennessee can stop Florida and force them into passing situations, that's what you want to do in this game.
hit at the line of scrimmage and knocked down for a loss by Harvey Thomas, the junior from Pompano, Florida. And the great defensive plays on both sides of the football continue. Wow.
Ron, we talk about the defense of Florida. Look at the 8-man front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against the run. And that's why it's so difficult to run against the 8-man front. They just outnumber you. Now you have to be worried about Carl Pickens on third down.
Third down, 3 wide receivers come to the open side of the field. The line to make is the 44. Kelly, under heavy pressure, gets away from it. Caught from behind and fumbles the football. Florida has recovered at the 48.
Anytime you put a team in a third and long situation and you're in an 8-man front, we just showed you the 8-man front against the run. Now when it's third and long yardage, those 2 outside linebackers become like nickel backs. There's no one open for Andy Kelly, and that's the thing Tennessee cannot afford to get into tonight. Harvey Thomas is going to strip him right here of the football and cause the big fumble.
Dell Spear, number 4, made the recovery for the Florida Gators. As Matthews having to run for his life, and he will maybe pick up a couple of yards, but Shazan Bradley, who continues to improve with every ball game at left defensive tackle, is the man who knocked him down. Well, Tennessee, as you can see by the numbers, have had some fumble problems. Something that Johnny Majors would certainly like to see out of the repertoire, because they got such a fine veteran defense coming back and a good offense, but you can't be good until you erase that.
Ron, I think they have to work Eric Rep on the linebackers a little bit, and also Trey Everett, number 24.
Matthews again steps up because of heavy outside pressure, and he will come out of bounds at, they're going to spot him out at the 41. Ernest Fields, that time, ushered him out of bounds, and now it'll be 3rd and 3.
That's not a sack, but Chris Mims did just as well. He was able to put enough pressure on Andy Kelly, on Shane Matthews. He was able to flush him out.
Some of the scores going up on the board and some of the unbelievable upsets today. The Rice Owls, a 20-point underdog, playing against undefeated and top 10 ranked Baylor, and they win it at Waco.
On any given Saturday,
Texas surprises Oklahoma, also a member of the top 10. Tennessee going to be offside, free play for the Gators, but they'll only have a couple of yards, and with that, they should have picked up the first down because of the offside.
Well, that's the way to slow Chuck Smith down. Change the cadence and give him some kind of inflection to try to draw him offside.
You know, as loud as it is, though, I'm not sure he can hear the cadence. He's got to be going off the ball.
Defense in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty.
And let's go down to Adrian Karsten on the Florida sideline.
Ron, here's the situation with the offensive line, and the safety happened right down in our end zone here. They're told don't be intimidated by that Tennessee defensive line. When you go to pass rush, step up and take them on. Don't backpedal right away. You're not giving Shane Matthews enough time to throw.
Well, he's been flushed up into the pocket, Adrian, almost every time he's thrown the football. Gets this one away. Trey Everett tries to cut back across the middle, but Fields simply will not let him go. Ernest Fields, the leading tackler on the Tennessee Volunteer team, and you can see why. Stops him for what's going to be about a 2-yard gain, and it looked as though it could have been big.
When you go to no back set, it's almost like playing out in the backyard. You spread everybody out, and you say go down 5 and hook, and that's exactly what you had there. Trey Everett, number 24, able to go down 5 yards. Shane Matthews looks over the field. As long as there's only a 4-man rush to that offensive set, I look for Florida to stay in this. Look at the way the linebackers are split up. Quarterback draws open.
No setback behind Matthews. Pressure coming pell-mell, and he throws it complete. Willie Jackson down to the 22-yard line. Now they're going to say the 20.
Well, you see the no-back offense I was just talking about. They're spreading everybody out. Here you see Shane Matthews going back, throwing the ball to Willie Jackson, number 22. You see how the linebackers now are forced to play as a defensive back. You take them out of the running responsibilities. I look for Larry Lacewell the next time they get the no-back set to blitz him.
Rhett Breaks off one, breaks off two, goes inside the 15 to the 14. That is an excellent second and third effort, and only because of that was he able to pick up positive yardage. It'll be a second down and 4. Miley finally stopped it.
Draw, trap, screen when you got tough rushing defense like Tennessee has it. Steve Spurrier knows he runs the draw. Larry Lacewell told us the other day, the draw play like other people run the toss sweep.
As you can tell by those numbers, inside what the coaches call the red zone, Florida has not been as efficient as Steve Spurrier would like. Trey Everett at the 5.5-yard line. First and goal, Gators.
Florida's doing a very good job of getting the ball to Trey Everett, who I think is a real big-time receiver. Here you see good pass protection right here. There's the in route with Trey Everett, and the tackle made, but it was a good possession down for a first down.
2-0 is our score. If you just joined us, it was a triple with a couple of men on, and right now the Gators with a first and goal, the ball just outside the 5. Rhett, nothing there. Hardy is the first man to come across along with Chris Mims and engulf him. Take a look upstairs. The Brain Trust, Larry Lacewell, second from the top, who is with his head grasped in his hands. David Cutcliffe at the bottom of the screen there. He's the quarterback coach, and right now he's sitting there praying, but he has no part of this. And back behind him is Philip Fulmer, not in our picture, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee, and he's making his plans for what is to come after this drive. Matthews holds it forever, overthrown, incomplete, and it will be third down as Dean had come in the backfield that time. I beg your pardon, Eric Rhett is the man that the pass was intended for.
Ron, maybe one of the troubles they have in the red zone is the fact that they're not able with the tight ends that they have, the big tight ends. They have some injuries there. They lost their tight end last year. And really, when you get inside the 10-yard line, you need tight ends. You need tight ends on crossing routes. And that may be giving them the problem in the red zone.
Timeout called by the Florida Gators. This is the 9th play of the drive coming up, and we'll take the timeout with them. 5:36 left of the opening quarter. Tennessee, 2-0. Welcome back to Florida Field. Ron Franklin with Mike Godfrey, Adrian Karsten, and Craig James. As you look on at Steve Spurrier, the Florida head coach. And here's the situation. His football team with the first and goal at the 5.5-yard line. Right now, they look at a third and goal from the 5. Matthews in a quarterback draw, and he will not get in. He is at the 1-foot line. Dale Carter is the man who took his feet right out from under him.
Well, we talked about the no-back set. You're going to see Florida. Look at how they have no backs in the backfield, and they spread out the linebackers. There's nobody inside to help on the draw. Shane Matthews goes back. Look, there's no linebackers. He's going to try to go up over top. Just a great tackle.
Crowd will let you know. 2 setbacks, McNabb and Rhett. Terrell Jackson. Knocks it through. And the Florida Gators, on the strength of Terrell Jackson's first touchdown pass reception of the year, and Shane Matthews has just tossed his 15th of the year. Gators lead by 5. Welcome back as the Gators have gone on top. Arden Krzyzewski handles field goal and extra point attempts. Now, normally we would see Ryan Rulett kicking off for the Florida Gators. But Krzyzewski has come out and it tells us one thing. The Gator coaches told us on Thursday and Friday they did not want to kick off to Carter, who burned them last year. Look for a pooch kick, and if he does it in the angle from which he is set up right here, I think McCleskey, who is standing at about the 15-yard line, one of the short backs, he should be closest to it. Taken away by one of the up backs at the 30, now the 31-yard line is Chris Mims, and now a flag comes in late. And I have a feeling that the coaches might talk to Mims and say, let the receiver catch the football.
After the play was over, a flagrant face mask against the defense, 15 yards.
Okay, let's look back at the touchdown here. Shane Matthews is going to fake the...
You can hear the referee, Al Ford, say flagrant face mask, so 15 yards tacked on following the pooch kick. And on first down, Darryl Mickle, who had to miss the first part of the season because of suspension, leads the way. And James Stewart just has no place to run.
Well, just great defense by Florida. And again, as I said, on first down, if you can stop the running game on first down, now that puts so much pressure on the offensive coordinator on second down. You see James Stewart, see the 8-man front, down lineman moving around. James Stewart has no place to run. And as of this point, Carl Pickens has not had the ball thrown to him.
Over the middle for the tight end, has it complete. Mark Adams makes the reception and really got punished on the play at the 31, but it's good for 22. And all of a sudden, the Tennessee Volunteers across midfield and a first down.
Andy Kelly faked the toss sweep, threw the ball to Mark Adams on a crossing route. Carl Pickens was running a streak route on the right side and was open, but he did throw the ball to Mark Adams for a nice completion off the play action.
2 of 2. 50 yards, Andy Kelly. Again, throws to his tight end. Adams breaks the tackle and will take it inside the 25 to the 24. Let's go down to the Tennessee side and Craig James.
I talked to the Tennessee offensive linemen. They say they're having a hard time hearing the snap count. It's really bothering them. It's making them a little passive when they come off the football right now.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. I jokingly said to you a while ago that I wasn't sure that the center could hear the quarterback, and they're as close as you could get in the alignment. Second down. They need the 22. Stewart hit in the backfield, and again it is Darren Mickle.
This is Darren Mickle's first game back with the injury to the last week to the defensive end. Darren Mickle now is playing number 92. You're going to see him make the tackle on James Stewart. And when you again force that run against the 8-man front, now the pressure now I think goes to the Florida defense number 26, Myrick Anderson, on underneath coverage on Carl Pickens.
Mickle was suspended for 5 games. It was a house suspension because of missing classes. Pass tipped at the line of scrimmage and blocked by Harvey Thomas.
Boy, Florida took a gamble there. They came on an all-out blitz and brought the 2 outside linebackers, put Carl Pickens in a one-on-one with the freshman defensive back, Larry Kennedy, number 3, but they were able to knock the ball down. Watch number 26, Myrick Anderson, when we come back to it on the replay.
John Bexforth, who we saw a couple of weeks ago in a surprise move against Auburn. This is 45 yards. He's a freshman from Chattanooga. Long enough. No good. Matthews puts it up top, going for Trey Everett, and the ball almost intercepted. In fact, Everett says he was interfered with, but Carter was coming across to help out and very nearly made the interception.
You're going to see what Florida's doing without any backs in the backfield. But see, look at the linebackers, how wide they are and how much they're stretched. So look for the inside passing game to the running backs to eventually start opening for Florida. Florida feels like they can't run against Tennessee, so they're trying to go to the no back to set up their offensive game plan.
They set a screen to the left. Willie McClendon breaks the tackle, and because of the second effort and surge, he will have the first down at the 41-yard line. That's good for 13 yards. Tom Fuller, a senior from Crystal Lake, Illinois, number 91, made the tackle for Tennessee.
That's how you take care of the rush of Chuck Smith and Chris Mims, because what you do with your offensive tackle is just set up and show pass and chop them, and then throw the screen to number 5, Willie McClendon.
Roderick Lewis checks out at strong safety. Mark Fletcher, number 36, comes in for the Volunteers. Willie McClendon on a draw to the left. Has 5, has 10, handed off at 13. Dale Carter makes the stop, and excellent blocking by White, Ismail, and Cal Dixon on that Florida front.
Steve Spurrier came with a screen. Now he comes with a draw play. Here's the draw to Willie McClendon, number 5. Dale Carter, number 18, is going to come from his free safety spot and make the play. Again, trying to keep that Tennessee defense off balance. Draw, screen, throw the football deep, throw short, traps, just trying to keep them off balance.
This time it's Rhett and McClendon as the two setbacks. Intended for Red, and I'll tell you, almost tipped and intercepted by Carter. Number 18 was the closest to it, and you can see him saying, I was that close to making the interception.
Well, he was close, Ron. When you get a two-deep coverage, every coach in America wants to try to get somebody down the middle in what we call the middle read. He had Eric Rhett down the middle in play action. See, when he faked that ball, it brought the linebackers up. You have the safeties way deep, so there is an area 18 to 25 yards right in the middle if he just could have got it down a little lower.
Matthews swings it out to Randolph. The lone setback, breaks one tackle, and then will be hauled down from behind. At the 45, it's Casey Rogers, the senior from Humboldt, who is there. And now it is third down for the Gators, and the line to make is the 36.5.
It looks like Tennessee has brought in 4 defensive ends and taken out their tackles to try to get more of a pass rush. And when they do that, these are all 4 very skilled pass rushers, coached by Rex Norris, and they're doing a lot of twists just to try to free somebody up to put them in Shane Matthews' face.
Rogers, Mims, Smith, and Todd Kelly, the 4 defensive ends that are in there. And now with the third down and the snap coming from the 45. Over the middle. Has it complete, and how he held on, I don't have any idea. Willie Jackson. Dale Carter came up and almost took his head off. Good for 20.
Well, we talked about 2-deep coverage. What Tennessee went to was a 3-man rush. 5 underneath. There's a 3-man rush. There's the 5 underneath zones. There's the 2-deep. Right there's where the void area is in the middle. Watch Willie Jackson get right in that middle area I was talking about, the middle read area. He pays for the catch, for the big catch.
Flag on the play. You know, Willie Jackson, his dad played at Florida, 69 through 1973 as the quarter comes to an end. And after we get back, we'll show you a picture of Willie Jackson, who came to this ballpark and cheered for his dad. At the end of the first quarter, the Gators lead it 7-2. Everyone thought this one would be tight, and that's what we had at the end of the first quarter. Florida 7-2. And the picture we were talking about a moment ago, Willie Jackson, who caught that pass and just blasted over the middle just a couple of plays ago. His father was a wide receiver here at the University of Florida, and this picture was in a local newspaper when Willie was about 3 years of age. Watch Daddy go, go Gators. Father played here 1969 through 73. And I'm sure there's no greater feeling than have your son come and play at your alma mater.
Must be a great feeling.
Matthews on first down gets it complete. That's Duncan, Monty Duncan, the sophomore from St. Augustine, and now they say incomplete. Couldn't hold on to it. Mike, you might talk about what is an interesting situation with Florida, the fact that they're using both Alonzo Sullivan and Monty Duncan, who are undersized, flexing them out at tight end.
All they want to do, Ron, they want to get an extra receiver in. They don't have the big blocking tight end, so what they do, instead of lining him up in his regular spot, just move him out about 5-6 yards to make a linebacker come outside and reduce him away from the running game. It's just like blocking him.
Mark White came out of his stance. You could hear the pounding on the desk. That was next door. The Florida coaches are there. And, you know, I think what Craig James said down on the field just a moment ago, I think this crowd is working against Florida as much as it's working against Tennessee right now.
Those coaches next door, they may just quit pounding. They may just throw it right through the window here in a second. The penalties drive all coaches crazy.
Oh, particularly this situation. They're about to scrimmage with a 2nd and 10 at the 24. Now it's a 2nd and 15 from the 29-yard line. Going to go deep. He's got him there. Trey Everett. Krzyzewski to attempt the extra point. Everett now 3 receptions for 38 yards and a touchdown. He's perfect. Michael, take another look.
Well, Ron, in 2 deep coverage, we talked about the area in the middle of the field that's open, but also there's an area in the corner that's open. In the back corner here where the safety can't get to. You're going to see the route, 1 back set. They got them spread out, 4-man rush. You watch the twist coming. Here's the corner route. Trey Everett just gets him involved enough inside and he's wide open. Tracy Smith is not able to cover him. Big play receiver. Let's see him again, Trey Everett. He's as big-time a receiver as you'll find in the SEC. He's an outstanding player. Big catch, big touchdown.
One more look.
Neutralize the pass rush with a draw on the screen. So far, things are working in their favor. Tennessee offense needs to get something on first down. That's where they're having their biggest problems because on 2nd and 3rd, they're throwing into real heavy coverage.
Again, Arden Krzyzewski is kicking off. And this time he kicks it away to the near sideline, and that will catch the corner of the end zone. Carter thought it was going to go out of bounds, and they would have gotten the good field position. And Krzyzewski, just like he drew a line, just right inside the corner, nails it. Well, here's the scoring drive. 8 plays, 72 yards.
Passes to Carl Pickens yet, which is not a fault of Tennessee. It's what Florida's able to do with Myrick Anderson, number 26.
Plus the fact this is the worst field position that Tennessee has had all night. And now the crowd is becoming a real factor. Kelly has it complete at the 40-yard line to Faulkner, and nothing takes the crowd out of it any quicker than that. He'll bring it out to the 44. 24 yards in the pass play.
Boy, Andy Kelly made a great choice here to go to Craig Faulkner. You're going to see the fake of the draw. Both teams run the draw real well. Carl Pickens is already cleared out. Now here comes Craig Faulkner underneath. When you have a player like Carl Pickens, he draws so much attention. That opened up Craig Faulkner.
Hayden on the running play takes it for a couple. Tony McCoy, number 71, one of those at the bottom of the pile. And now it is McCoy, who was saying, hey, don't get quiet on us now. Also, Tim Hawk, number 99, was in on the tackle.
Yeah, Tony McCoy saying, don't get quiet now. I don't need to hear the signals. Joe, go ahead. Tennessee has to hear them now, so let's get loud.
Aaron Hayden remains in the ballgame at tailback, the freshman out of Detroit. See the blitz coming from inside. Pitch goes to Hayden, breaks one tackle. Will take it for a couple, and it's Darren Mickle, the junior out of Miami, who has had an outstanding game in his early going. Will tackle him just before the 50.
Boy, Florida's defensive game plan is working just like their offensive game plan is to this point. They're forcing with the disguise of the two outside linebackers. They're trying to make Andy Kelly guess whether to run or throw. They've been able to keep Carl Pickens out of the game to this point.
Hatch comes in the ball game, number 18. He is at the top of the screen, working against Pickens. Kelly delivers it complete to Faulkner. That's good for the first down at the 42-yard line. Craig is a sophomore out of Richmond, Kentucky, and he's not real big at 5'11", 175, but I think the deep down.
That goes back to the idea of making a team work the field. Eventually, they'll make mistakes. They'll fumble the ball, or they'll throw an interception, or they'll jump off sides or get a hold. But see where Carl Pickens can hurt you is in one flash. He's got 7 points on the board. Make them work the field if you're Florida. If you're Tennessee, be patient.
Kelly rolls the pocket this time, drills it complete at the 40-yard line to McCluskey, and now a late flag comes in, and now another one. Lawrence Hatch is there defensively.
Good play called by Tennessee. Philip Fulmer, the offensive coordinator, went away from the drop-back game, now rolled out with a sprint-out pass.
Flagrant face mask against the defense, 15 yards, first down.
You're going to see Andy Kelly in the rollout. As I said before, once you have a quarterback, drop him back a little bit, then roll him out a little bit so that people can't get used to where you have him. Pete Bartley eventually makes the tackle. So if you're going to blitz him, you have to guess where he's at. Now, he's not always going to be in a drop-back scene.
That's two flagrant face masks against the Gators. And the new line of scrimmage is the 23 of Florida. Hayden straight ahead, has a couple, now 3. 57, Kevin Carter is there hanging on to it.
Kevin Carter's a true freshman, the defensive end that's starting and alternating with Darren Mickle in this defense by Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator. Good drive to this point. Now Florida has to toughen inside the 20. Tennessee, again, keep the patience that they're having right now and get that ball in the end zone.
Good look at number 50, Brad Culpepper, the senior from Tallahassee. One of the real leaders on this ball club. Kelly will be hit by Culpepper. Vice president of the student body, and I imagine he commands quite a bit of respect in the meetings when they have those each week.
About one more sack like that, and they'll take a revolt next week. He's going to be the president.
For a loss by Florida, the second quarterback sack. It is third down. The line to make the 13. Kelly has it complete at the 11-yard line. That's Craig Faulkner. Robinson and Spear will finally make the tackle.
That's the experience of a veteran quarterback. Here you see Carl Pickens. Look at how you talk about drawing a crowd. Now there's Steve Bartley staying right with him. It's like basketball. Zone and one, and where you got somebody on the leading scorer all the time. There's Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator, coach for me at Murray State, Cincinnati, and Kansas.
Hayden in the handoff. He'll have one, and that's it. Again, it is Mickle. And I'll tell you what, Brandon was injured as a flag has gone down in the end zone. The starter at that right defensive end, but Mickle has come up extremely big in this game so far.
They've done a nice job of alternating Carter and Mickle to keep them fresh.
And we've just been told by Alvin Lindblad, our statistician, and Billy Werndell are spotted.
Personal foul against the defense at half the distance to the goal line, an automatic first.
Wow. Another personal foul against Florida. That's 5 individual tackles for Mickle already. We have 10:39 left to play until halftime.
Well, that's a big penalty right there, Ron, because pretty good defensive play. Now they have first down on the up to 4-yard line.
It's Jerry Odom jumping up and down. He was a starter at middle linebacker, or one of the middle backers last year out of Merritt Island. Now a graduate assistant. Kelly rolls the pocket, has a man, touchdown Tennessee. Corey Fleming got in the back of the end zone, and the sophomore from Nashville is there to gather it in.
Was good play call again by the offensive coordinator, Phil Fulmer. He brought Carl Pickens in motion to try to get him in the flat and curled Corey Fleming deep in the end zone. Andy Kelly, the wise choice, threw the ball for the touchdown to Corey Fleming, who was wide open.
Bexford to attempt the extra point for the ball. So, 10 minutes, 20 seconds left until halftime. And another look is Kelly, who has shown so much poise on this drive, finds Fleming in the back of the end zone. And the reaction from Andy Kelly, yes, sir. It is 6 points. Take a break. Gators 14-9. Welcome back to Florida Field. Ron Franklin with Mike Godfrey to Adrian Karsten and Craig James. And so many times big games don't live up to expectations. So far, for the first 25 minutes or 20 minutes of this one, it has been just what we thought it would be. Kelly on that drive, Mike, 4 of 4, 36 yards and the touchdown.
Patience, that was the key.
Harrison Houston fumbles the ball, now picks it up. And will bring it out near the... Welcome back to Florida Field. Ron Franklin with Mike Godfrey to Adrian Karsten and Craig James. And so many times big games don't live up to expectations. So far, for the first 25 minutes or 20 minutes of this one, it has been just what we thought it would be. Kelly on that drive, Mike, 4 of 4, 36 yards and the touchdown.
Patience, that was the key.
Harrison Houston fumbles the ball, now picks it up. And will bring it out near the 20-yard line. So many times, everybody relaxes a bit, and that can turn into a troubled situation after a fumble. But Tennessee with good coverage downfield. Gets all the NFL action on Sundays on ESPN. This time, Florida with splitbacks, and for the second time tonight, we see Rhett and McClendon. Rare situation. McClendon puts the head down, barrels out to the 23-yard line. I believe Ernest Fields is the man who got there to make the hit, along with Todd Kelly.
Little fancy play there. It was a little shovel draw by Shane Matthews. His back, didn't even eye him up. Willie McClendon, they had two tailbacks in the ball game, flipped him the ball, number 5, and they're just really nonchalant.
Yeah, but they're going to have to go a distance till they catch up with Tony Sacca. He did it behind the back with both hands at different times in the game today.
Pete Maravich of college football.
Draw play with Rhett. Flag comes down, and he will bring it to the 26. 45, Shazan Bradley, or check it, Sean Walker, I should say, is there to make the tackle. That flag came down immediately, just as the ball was snapped.
Sean Walker has the draw play. He's the middle linebacker, number 45. He has the draw, and he's going to have those backs in pass coverage.
Illegal formation. You had only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
I'll tell you why that happened, Ron. It's exactly what I was talking about earlier. When a tackle wants to try to get an advantage, he'll back up, and that's what the side judge called. The offensive tackle on the left side, Mark White, number 60, was deeper than he felt like he should be to try to get the edge on Chuck Smith. I'd want to get as far away from Chuck Smith as I could, too. No back set.
They set the screen, and this time, I think Matthews just threw it away. It was Todd Kelly who was coming through, number 58. And I think Shane Matthews realized that this was not going to be a great reward, even if he completed the pass, and he was about to be knocked down in his own end zone.
for the pass rush of Tennessee when they time everything right, and the two defensive ends, and now they're substituting, bringing the backup defensive ends, Todd Kelly and Casey Rogers a little bit. It's very difficult to try to block them. They're just very strong pass rushers.
Third down, Florida needs the 30. Pressure again, pass overthrown. He simply didn't have time to get a read. Again, there's a marker down at the line of scrimmage as Matthews got belted, and it was Casey Rogers and Todd Kelly again.
Illegal formation on the 6 men on the line. Decline, 4-10.
Well, it drives you crazy if you're a coach. I didn't see on that time if it was a tackle or a wide receiver. When you have a no-back set, you have people in unfamiliar territory. And so somebody didn't either move up on the line of scrimmage, everybody stayed in the backfield, and they didn't have enough people on the line of scrimmage. Here's where Dale Carter becomes tough.
Shane Edge to punt. It's the first time that Florida would have had to punt tonight. Good high driving spiral. Good heavens. Carter all the way back to the 27. And he will be stopped at the 30. That's about as good as it gets in special teams. 54 yards of the punt, 2 on the return. Well, Mike, it's where we'll be next Saturday night in the beautiful Rocky Mountains Air Force Academy, playing host at Notre Dame.
Fisher DeBerry and Lou Holtz. A nice challenge.
Kelly on the short drop, gets it out to Faulkner. Makes a good move, and Will White will push him out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. They're going to say he's a yard shy of the first down.
Andy Kelly here. Look at again. Look at the front here of all these people inside. Now there's Carl Pickens upside. That's on the upper left, and that's what he has. And Andy Kelly checks off on this play. And you'll see the pass he throws to the other side, but they one time so far I've seen where they've given Carl Pickens one-on-one coverage.
Counter the option. Going to go long, and he's got him open. Looking for Pickens, and the ball got lofted, and it is knocked away by Larry Kennedy. I'll tell you for the world, if Kelly had gotten any kind of spiral on that so the ball would have carried, Pickens had broken 5 yards free. And let's go down to Craig James for an update. Craig.
It's amazing they were able to audibilize on the last play. Several of their players said that it's so loud, they're just going on the snap count on the ball, the movement of the football, that they cannot hear anything when Andy tries to make an audibilization.
Well, Carl Pickens is heading to the sideline along with Faulkner. Corey Fleming will come into the ball game. And for the Vols, it is third down, and they need about a half yard. Straight ahead is Kelly. He'll have it. Brad Culpepper down at the bottom of the pile. Also, you can see Godfrey Miles getting up. There's 71, Tony McCoy. And here comes number 15 back on. Mike, how much fun is it? They just went deep to Pickens, but I guess he's going to have to grow accustomed to being decoy because before this year's over, he's going to get the same treatment by everybody they face.
Well, I said it before. If I walked into the stadium as a head coach, I wouldn't want Carl Pickens to beat me, so I'm going to make sure 2 people are on him all the time in some type of coverage.
He's down at the bottom of the screen as Kelly throws it. Great catch by Faulkner, and he'll take it inside the 40 to the 39. That ball was behind him, and Craig just grafted it in.
And what happens when you talk about Carl Pickens, I said it from the start, defensive coordinators have to make adjustments. And when you're going to double team a great receiver like Carl Pickens, you're going to leave a wide receiver open. And here you see number 4, Craig Faulkner, with just an excellent catch, good concentration. But he has one-on-one in his zone coverage over there that he should be open all the time. He and J.J. McCluskey.
Well, Faulkner, 5 receptions now for 75 yards.
Now here's where they have a chance to get the ball to Carl Pickens. A one-on-one situation right here.
You see the linebackers coming on a blitz, pass thrown, and it is trapped by Pickens.
The problem is they rushed 8 people, and they don't give you a lot of time to throw it to him.
You know, that was perfect harmony as far as coordination between the defensive coordinator and the crowd. They really got loud just as Kelly was trying to make an audible.
I'll bet when Ron Zook calls that defense, his heart's in his throat, because he knows if you don't get to Andy Kelly and he gets that ball to Carl Pickens, it's one-on-one. It could be a track meet.
I was worried about Ron in our defensive meeting yesterday. He was so fired up.
I was going to hyperventilate.
They do the same play to Pickens, breaks by a tackle, and he is finally stopped at the 22-yard line. At Carlton Miles saved 6.
That's why his heart's in his throat. He went again to the blitz. He went to 8-man front to stop the run, which gave Carl Pickens a one-on-one situation. Here you're going to see Andy Kelly. He's looking right to Carl Pickens. There's the blitz. There comes Myrick Anderson, number 26. There's Carl Pickens, and I'll tell you, it was almost a big play, but a good yardage. There you see Carl Pickens, one-on-one. Number 3, Larry Kennedy. There's the quick hitch. Larry Kennedy comes up. There's where he's so tough. Makes just a little move to the inside, but he's strong because of his size. Physical player. Came there as a defensive back.
So let's take a break. Gators lead it 14-9. We'll be right back.
Are participating in halftime activities.
5 record, and the ball fans were kind of screaming about head coach Johnny Majors, who had led the Orange to a 10-2-1 mark just the year before. Majors' team went down for the 6th consecutive time that day, but then they bounced back to win the final 5 games of the season. And of course, the story from there gets very, very good for Majors.
Well, Ronnie's 29-3-2 since that point. This team that you see tonight, the Tennessee team, they're battle hardened. I mean, they were in that 0-6 and they won. I think this team is good because of the results of what happened back in '88. They learned how to win.
Kelly fumbles to snap from center, and Florida has recovered at the 24. McCoy. That's his 2nd recovery of the night.
One mistakes will kill you, and I think Andy Kelly just pulled out a little too soon on the snap. Here you see Andy Kelly rocking back. Looks like the ball hits his hand, and he's stepping back so quickly. I think the ball just went out and went to the ground.
And the surge by Culpepper had both the center and the guard occupied. They were pushed out of the play. Matthews has it complete. That's Houston. And he has it up for the Florida first down at the 36.
Well, Harrison Houston tightened up his split a little bit, ran a curl route, and then broke it to the outside, what we call an arrow route. Good pass completion, good catch, good yardage. Now, Harrison Houston was a backup, but Coach Spurrier felt like he needed to get Harrison Houston and Trey Everett on the field at the same time because they felt like they had speed and they were the most productive receivers.
Revan McNabb with the setbacks this time. Red, does he get blasted at the line of scrimmage? He will not get back. It is Shazan Bradley, number 40, the senior out of Athens, Tennessee, who makes the hit. Red, as soon as he got the football, got number 40.
I had a chance to talk to Eric Red yesterday. He is an outstanding individual. I asked him, I said, would you rather run the football or would you rather be a pass receiver? And he said, either way, I just want the football. And an outstanding young man.
Mike, one of the characteristics on him, you don't see a lot of backs do this, but when they're just going through dummy, when they're running plays in practice, when he gets a handoff, he runs the entire length of the field. It could be 60 or 70 yards from where they are.
Coach has told me 110% every play.
Pass wide open over the middle, down to the 40-yard line is Aubrey Hill. 26 yards.
Keep talking about the no-back set and what problems it has caused Tennessee. Shane Matthews comes right back to it and is able to throw this football right down the middle of the field because he's spreading everybody out. Here you see Chuck Smith on the rush, trying to get just almost to Shane Matthews before he was able to get the ball away. Good pass.
Was not able to enjoy the completion. He never saw it. Dexter McNabb, still on his feet, has the first down, and it's good for 14 yards. Reeves on the sideline, trying to inspire his teammates.
You're going to see Dexter McNabb on the draw. Watch the lineman show pass. Ball given to Dexter McNabb on the draw. Watch the linebackers. Look at the cross blocking and look at the hole that opens. When you throw the football successfully, you can't open the run.
Good. McNabb is no pleasure to tackle either. He's 6 feet, 238 pounds. Matthews set, going to go long. This one will be overthrown. Houston was the closest man to it. And by the way, the 13-yard carry by McNabb just a moment ago, Mike, is their longest rush from center tonight.
I think the team that wins this game will be the team that establishes some sort of running game. I know both defenses are very strong against the run, but someone has to establish the running game to open up their passing game, the play actions, in key situations. Steve Spurrier has done an outstanding job. I had a chance to watch practice the other day. Fine teacher. No back set again. Now, the reason this is causing so much problem is they have to move their linebackers, have to spread out. They made blitzing in this situation, and that's what he sees. He's bringing in somebody to help block.
Matthews in his short drop, puts it up to the end zone, has a man there, and caught out of bounds. Trey Everett caught it, but he was out of bounds. Jeremy Lincoln is the man they were working on.
Now, that's what I thought that would happen with Larry Lacewell. Now, with the no-back set, he's going to make him blitz, which is going to bring some receivers in. There's Larry Lacewell. You see him right here in your screen, second from the left. He sees the no-back set. He's not going to sit back there anymore and let him pick him. He's going to be able to come back after him and try to pressure him and make him keep some of those receivers in. So now you get a one-on-one situation on the outside.
Third down. And the situation, as a late replacement comes in on offense, that is Dexter McNabb. It is third down, and the line to make is the 15, 16 and a half. And now, because of the confusion, Florida's going to have to use a timeout. So let's take it with them. 5:09 left until halftime. Gators leading by 5. Welcome back to Florida Field. The situation, third down and 10 for the Florida Gators, and the line to make is just outside the 16. What Tennessee has just done, they have just brought in all 4 defensive ends. They will be the down 4. Smith, Kelly, Rogers, and Mims. And for Steve Spurrier's quarterback, 12 of 21, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns, 136 yards for Matthews.
Watch number 21 to come out of the backfield.
Right over the middle, has it complete, Willie Jackson.
Boy, nice call by Steve Spurrier. He brought out number 21, Dexter McNabb. You got to watch him over the middle, and then watch the receiver come behind him because the linebacker jumps the throw to the back. Here's the back coming out of the backfield. Now you see the route right behind him. Underneath the safeties, good completion.
First and goal. Rhett and McNabb are the setbacks for the Gators. And Dexter McNabb still has his shoulder down, driving inside the 5, and Ernest Fields will knock him down at the 4.
Florida on this drive has been able to keep Tennessee off balance. Steve Spurrier with some very good play calling in this drive. You see the confidence that he has. Talked about the last time we were here, he doesn't wear a headset a lot of times. John Reeves, the former quarterback, up here in the press box, also looking at the secondary coverages, and they'll confer between offenses.
2 tight ends come in the ballgame. Terrell Jackson, who has a touchdown pass in the game, number 87. At 85, George Rushing, who is a freshman out of Miami. And they go with Rhett. Touchdown, Florida. I'm telling you, Ismail and Cal Dixon did some kind of job of blowing the hole open. Barrett takes it into the end zone, and Arden Krzyzewski will try to put the Gators on top 21-9. One more look, and watch those linemen.
Just a cutback.
To think about that, a 45-3 shellacking. And let's go down to Adrian Karsten, who is behind the Florida bench right now.
Well, here's the situation, Ron. As Craig James mentioned a couple of moments ago, this decibel meter is the result of this last Florida drive. This is registering over 100 decibels, and ironically, the only other stadium that I think that we can say comes close to this is up in Knoxville. Shane Matthews said earlier this week that it's very tough to quiet his own crowd. The result is either 85,000 sore throats in the morning or 85,000 earaches, depending on how you look at it.
All right, Adrian.
Helps the doctors around here, Adrian.
Krzyzewski kicks this one away. This will be Dale Carter from the 2. Crosses the 20 and is going to be spun down at the 24-yard line.
Tennessee needs another drive like their last drive where they showed patience, took what the defense gives you. I know people don't like to hear that sometimes, but that is exactly what's happened in this ball game. Tennessee so far has been patient. Take what they give you, try to get a nice drive, and get a score before half.
Speaking of half, this is what is coming up during the intermission. Mr. Brando and Mr. Corso bringing up to date on what is going on in college football. Play action, puts it on his hip, looking for Pickens, has him at the 40, pushed out of bounds at the 44. Del Spear, number 4, got the bump on him to knock him out of bounds.
Florida's running a lot of 2-deep coverage just like Tennessee, and you're going to see Carl Pickens run like a post, take him inside, make him think you're going inside, and then break behind him. Now the safety, number 4, Dale Spear, has to come over to make that play.
Kelly again has Pickens. Can't get out of the grasp of Fee Bartley, who will spin him down. They're going to give him forward progress inside the 42-yard line. And just like that, Tennessee is into Gator territory.
Well, they're not trying to go for the home run now with Carl Pickens. Carl Pickens just on an inside route, about a 15-yard route where he's just breaking inside. Now what Tennessee has done a little different is brought in a tight end in the offense. And now going to two-back offense. Little change-up.
Kelly, a little missing communication. He wanted Pickens again. I think what Tennessee has finally said, besides the change that they have made in that offensive alignment that you alluded to, is that they have said, hey, we've got the big weapon on the field. Let's do everything we can to get the football to it. Coming up at halftime, Timmy Brando and Lee Corso. Also the top stories of the day, some major upsets. The Longhorns over the Sooners, Rice upends Baylor, and East Carolina surprises Syracuse. Kelly, nice job of ball handling, gets it off to Hayden, and he will be stopped in the field of play and not be able to get out of bounds.
Florida's doing a very good job of disguising their defenses. They're on first down. They're trying to blitz a little bit more than they have in the previous series, and now they've put themselves in 3rd and 3. Ron Zook trying to figure out exactly what he wants to get called here, but make sure one thing, he's going to know where Carl Pickens is.
Out of the backfield, inside the 30, and Von Reeves, the tight end, coming across is there. Really nice call by Tennessee.
What Tennessee's doing right now, Ron, is something you mentioned to me they did last year. They're bringing in tight ends now a little bit to try to block the outside linebackers. They lined up Von Reeves in the backfield. Now, he's going to block the outside linebacker if he comes. If he doesn't come, he's going to release, and that's exactly what he did there.
Ron Franklin, Mike Godfrey, to Adrian Karsten, and Fred James from Florida Field in Gainesville. Great to have you along. It is 21-9. The Gators 2:21 left until the halftime, and the Vols are driving, and they go upstairs. This is for Pickens, and the ball is knocked away. Larry Kennedy had great field position defensively.
Well, you take your shots if you're Tennessee, and they felt like they're at the field position right now where you throw it up. And Larry Kennedy, who's a true freshman who signed with Ohio State, didn't make his test score, sat out, and came to Florida, is going to go up for a jump ball with Carl Pickens. I like the odds for Carl Pickens there.
Did you see him talking with Del Spear as he came back up the field to safety? They've gone against each other now for a couple of years. You know, and the Florida players said what they have been told by their coaches. Don't jive talk this fella because he gets tougher with tough talk that you try to get to it.
Well, he's a defensive player. He has defensive personality.
Draw play. Mose Phillips will fight it forward to the 25. Nickel, number 92, is down at the bottom of the pile. And now for Tennessee, the situation. It is a third down, and they need 7. The line to make is the 18.
What I would do right now if I was Johnny Majors is I would try to use Carl Pickens as a decoy and try to bring Von Rees out of the backfield across to the side where Carl Pickens is. And try to get the football to either he, Faulkner, or McCuskey.
Looking for Pickens. Can't get it. Larry Kennedy again. Now that, Mike, what do we got as far as the field goal attempt? This is pretty long. They're going to go for it. Bexford will come out and have the attempt. Now, his longest is 44. That was in a game we telecast a couple of weeks ago up in Knoxville against Auburn. And this attempt will be in that vicinity. In fact, 1 yard shorter. They'll put it down at the 33. So it's a 43-yard attempt. Perfect. And I'm telling you, even freshmen now, it amazes me. 85,000 screaming, going absolutely nuts. This kid, freshman out of Chattanooga, just knocks it home from 43. No pressure on him.
Calm and cool. He just came in here and delivered and put 3 more on the board for the Vols to make it 21-12. But that's what, as a defensive coordinator, Ron Zook, and we talked to Larry Lacewell about it, make them work the field. You know, you give up 3, but you still did your job. You kept them out of the end zone. And it's like Larry Lacewell said, we'll give them nickels and we'll give them dimes, but we don't want the dollar given up. And they're not doing that. They're giving them the 3 points.
Let's look at Bexford one more time. In fact, the game that we had a couple of weeks ago against Auburn, we were a little bit surprised because they had even thought of redshirting him even by the middle of that week. And then he waltzed out on the field and didn't miss a thing that he kicked all night. Freshman out of Chattanooga. Red Bank High School.
They ripped that red shirt right off of him because he is a key player for this Tennessee team.
Larry Kennedy, I got to commend this fella. He is a freshman as well. He has done an excellent job. Just one of the best that's come along in a while, Carl Pickens. Joey Chapman will kick it off for Tennessee. Houston is back in a dual safety along with number 3 Kennedy. Short kick going to be taken by Kennedy at the 10. Runs into trouble out at the 28-yard line, but that's good field position with 1 minute 20 seconds to work with. Okay, you're Steve Spurrier. What do you do right here?
Do something safe on first down, either a safe throw or a draw to try to get myself in a position where I get about 5 to 7, 10 more yards. Then I'm going to take some shots. I think Steve Spurrier, being an offensive coach, figures, hey, I got 120 on that clock. I'm going to use him. So I think first down is very important of what he can pick up here. He's got 1 timeout left.
Matthews wanted to go with a quarterback draw, and that's going to go for naught. That's number 40, Shazan Bradley, who has him all the way.
Safe call. That's exactly what he did. Felt like if he can bust a quarterback draw for a few yards and put himself in a little bit better position. Johnny Majors not going to use his timeouts.
They stopped them right here with still in the 40s. Don't you think Johnny might use one?
I don't think so.
I'm
make them kick to Carter if they couldn't get it. But they're going to pick up the first down in this play. Nope, Willie Jackson's going to be stopped short, loses the football, and Florida, it appears, no signals yet.
Well, they're pulling underneath that pile.
Florida football.
Willie just aged in that picture. We saw him a little earlier when he fumbled that ball.
Clock now runs 18 seconds, 17 seconds. Matthews will step out of bounds just across midfield with 11 ticks left on the clock. 19 yards on the scramble. What, do you put one up now?
I think you do, but I think Steve Spurrier, being the offensive coach that he is thinking in terms of 3 right now. He's trying to figure out how to get himself down there for one field goal shot. He has the timeout. If you're defensive back for Tennessee, what you have to figure also, it's going to be some type of out route where they're going to try to get somebody out around about the 30-yard line. Tennessee's going a 3-man rush and heavy. You may try to throw to the back out of the backfield, let him catch the short pass and try to run for the yards.
Florida, I believe, had too many men on the field, although they have not been flagged as McNabb came off. And Florida tries to call a timeout, and they do, with 3 ticks left on the clock. I couldn't tell. McNabb came off just as the ball was being snapped. No flag was thrown, so I guess they ran the play with 10 people there.
Now, Ron, he has only one choice. He's got to throw one. He's got to pump it up to the end zone. Now, if you're Tennessee defensive back, they're going to be in a 3-man rush and drop an 8.
Arden Krzyzewski walks the sideline and probably telling his teammates right now, knowing Arden, that hey, guys, you know, I probably could hit the 62-yarder, but Coach doesn't want to do it right now. Coming up at halftime, Tim Brando, Lee Corso, and the top story is 3 major upsets today.
East Carolina. Rice, they're sitting eating pizza, drinking a Coke right now, watching this game, feeling pretty good about
I
themselves.
think Fred Goldsmith is smiling, huh? I imagine David McWilliams is smiling as well. Shane rolls the pocket. He's going to go all the way into the end zone. The ball is tipped in the air, tipped again. It is caught for a touchdown.
Intercepted.
No, now they say intercepted. I beg your pardon. Darryl Hardy.
He had it, Ron. You're right on it. He did have the ball. In the last deflection, Darryl Hardy took it away. Boy, you saw exactly what everybody else. See, what you want to do on that play is just throw it up for grabs. Shane Matthews is going to roll out to give him a little bit more time. Now he just puts all the oomph he can underneath that ball. Now it's a basketball play again. Jump ball. You want somebody to tip it. One of your receivers to tip it. Tip it over here. There's your receiver to catch it. He's got it. Darryl Hardy takes it away.
He had it, and Hardy took it away from him. It saved Tennessee a Florida touchdown. Let's go to break and catch our breath.
This is Silver. Welcome you back to our college football studios. Along with the coach Lee Corso, I am Tim Brando. It is 21-12 at the half. A huge play at the end of the half by Tennessee defensively. And also, Lee Corso, if this game comes down to the wire and is decided by 2 points or so, it could come down to what you talked about all day long. You've got to keep a back there to help protect Shane Matthews against the Tennessee pass rush. It cost them early.
Sure, Tim, because what you do is you put the offensive left tackle for Florida on an island where the man can go either way, right or left. In this case, watch the right tackle from Tennessee beat the left tackle from Florida to the inside. The ball will be snapped. Watch Chuck Smith to the right side come to the inside and tackles Matthews for a 2-yard loss. I think Tennessee's going to blitz more in the second half, and Florida better keep it back in there to help protect Shane Matthews.
21-12 is not a lot when you start talking about Tennessee with Pickens and Carter and the like. All right, it was truly upset.
12 at halftime. And quite frankly, Mike Gottfried, when you look at the first half statistics, they're relatively close. In my opinion, Tennessee's just got to stop shooting themselves in the foot.
They really do. It's been a guessing game on offense and defense. Johnny Majors has a good plan. The 3 fumbles have really hurt them. What Florida's done a good job is guessing right in the defensive plan. Here you see the 8 people on defense in the 8-man front. Here's, I count them for you. 7, 6, 7, 8. Now watch the 8th person come in. They have 8 people to stop the run. They've been guessing right against the Tennessee offense. They've been able to stop the run, only giving up 14 yards rushing in the first half. I think Johnny Majors has a good plan. He just has to continue patience, eventually guess right against that defensive front and have success.
Well, speaking of Johnny Majors, let's go down to the field. Craig James is with him right now as his team comes out of the tunnel. Here's what he had to say about that first 30 minutes.
Thank you, Ron. Coach, did the crowd noise restrict anything that you could do offensively?
Well, the crowd noises are much more of a factor in college football than ever before because of larger stadiums and playing here, playing at the Dome, or playing in Knoxville. It was a big factor in some mishaps at the center quarterback exchange. That's the biggest factor, and it does control your audible some.
Is there any way you can get Carl Pickens more involved in the second half?
We've tried to get him quite a bit involved. We've gone to him quite a few times. And right now, the biggest thing we should do is not stop ourselves. That's been the biggest margin of change in the half.
All right, Coach, good luck. All right, back up to you, Ron.
Okay, Craig, thanks so much. We are set to kick this one off in the second half. And Coach Majors said exactly what we were alluding to. That is Tennessee with 3 fumbles, and all 3 have been recovered by the University of Florida. That is off McCleskey's headgear. Can't find it. And now the return by Mose Phillips, shy of the 20-yard line. Mike, here are the first half numbers.
I think statistics are pretty even in the ball game. The rushing attempts, where you see Tennessee 16 rushing attempts, only 14 yards. That's the only area I think that Johnny Majors would like to have a little bit better. He's got to be able to run the ball to win. And the other thing is the turnovers, the 3 fumbles that they've given up.
Kelly going to throw in first down. Tried to get it to Hayden as he had brought him out of the backfield. Incomplete. And let's talk about the numbers for the quarterbacks in the first half.
You see that Kelly has 15 completions in 21 attempts. Matthews 14 for 24. Both quarterbacks enjoyed a pretty good evening. And again, I think what Tennessee's plan has been excellent. I don't think they've done anything wrong except not being able to run the football a little bit more effectively and just keep it and don't turn it over.
Hayden, Paul Pepper on top. Down on bottom is Darren Mickle. It will be third down Tennessee, and they'll be looking at about 9 yards. In fact, I remember last year at halftime looking at the total numbers, and they were about as close as they are this year. Florida, 228 total yards in that opening half, and Tennessee, 226. 40 snaps for Florida, 37 for Tennessee, and your point is well taken. They are going to have to be able, speaking of Tennessee, if they're going to make a ball game of this, they're going to have to establish the running game. Third down, the line to make, the 29. Wide open is Pickens. He'll take it across the 40 to the 43, and Lawrence Hatch is there to make the stop for Florida.
I tell you, credit that completion to that offensive line. Rodney Gordon, Tom Myslinski, John Fisher, Mike Staub, Patrick Lenore. They just gave him so much time. Andy Kelly can just take his time back there and let this route with Carl Pickens. Again, when you're facing too deep, the corner route is open, and Carl Pickens makes the catch. Lawrence Hatch, number 18 on the tackle. It's a big drive for Tennessee, Ron. Start the third quarter. You always like something good to happen with a great drive.
Hayden tries to turn the corner. Cannot do it. That excellent pursuit by the Florida defense, Larry Kennedy. We called his name a lot tonight as Tennessee has kind of looked at him. They have put number 15, Mr. Pickens, out there on him, and I think Larry has really stood up and said, hey, I will account for myself.
He's responded. He's played well back there. And then you look at the front of Florida. What Ron Zook wants that tailback to do, Stewart and Hayden, is to run east and west, not north and south, and they've been able to stop them.
Kelly, he did a smart thing there. He just got rid of it. Thomas, you could see, leveled him. It also 92 Mickle, and it'll be third down.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you can give credit to disguising in the secondary. Andy Kelly thought he had the quick pass here to Carl Pickens, but the corner will roll up. Now watch. He sees he got him one-on-one. Now look at the corner roll up. He took away the short route. There's nothing else there. That's why he had to throw the ball away. give that one to the secondary for a good disguise and coverage.
Kelly on third down, passing 4 of 6 for 52 yards. He needs the 47 of Florida. And he's going to go up on top, looking for Pickens. And knocked away by Kennedy. And again, the freshman comes up big. Wow.
Now, you give a coverage where you roll the corner up. Now you get a coverage where you got the corner dropping back. Larry Kennedy now stride for stride with Carl Pickens. You can't play this any better than Larry Kennedy, the true freshman. He's running, little bump there, gets his hand in his face, and is able to knock the ball away.
It's awfully good defense, regardless of what class you're in. Carlton Miles got it. Gators will have it inside the 15.
Big play by the Florida special teams.
Gilmore recovers. Carlton Miles, I believe, number 31, is the man who got it.
The Tennessee special teams are notorious for being great special teams. You have to make a mistake, and the up back went outside and didn't block number 31 Carlton Miles and allowed him the shortest point to block the punt.
Let's see if Florida can take advantage of this situation from the 14. Matthews drops it over the top, complete at the 5-yard line.
We talked about earlier the great pass rush. The Florida offensive line in the last few series have done a good job of protecting Matthews. That was a 5-step drop that he got the ball away quickly before the defensive ends could get to him. Good blocking by the offensive line of Florida.
Jackson and Rushing come in as dual tight ends. Right up the middle. He'll have the first down. It was a second down and short. Let's go to Adrian Karsten for an update. Adrian.
Well, gentlemen, you said it. Started the second half. Momentum could make the difference in this game. Coming down into this end zone now, the whole situation is that after they block that punt, all they've got to do now is punches across the goal line. The whole idea of momentum now, as far as our offensive line is concerned, is they've got to move the defensive line of Tennessee.
First and goal for the Gators. The ball at the 3.5-yard line. Eric Rett, he'll walk it in. Little misdirection. Tennessee heading to the left. He cuts it back against the grain and goes for the touchdown. Kuchevsky pops it through. One more look at the touchdown.
We talk about the block punt, setting it up. There's the...
Some of the record crowd here, and they're kind of whooping it up. Still a lot of football left to be played, but the Gators have already scored 28. They have now put a distance between themselves and the Volunteers of 16 points. Kuchevsky's kick comes down to the goal line, and this is Carter. Gets belted as he crosses the 35, and he's all the way back out to the 39-yard line. Lex Smith in the special teams is the man who got a hold of it.
Well, with a 16-point lead, Florida feels like they can kick the ball to Dale Carter. Now, here's the kick to Carter. You're going to see the wedge on the inside. Anytime a team kicks off from the hash, you usually return it into the hash. He makes a good cut right here and is able to give his offense good field position. The 38-yard line.
Smith really tagged him there, and he still picked up 5 more yards. Boy, this crowd wants to see some blood after what happened last year in Knoxville. Flags are down, and the mission was accomplished. Jumping off sides, Tennessee.
When you're ahead 16 points, Ron, you can do a lot of disguising. You can kick the ball deep to Dale Carter, disguise on defense, and that's what Florida's able to do.
Before the ball was snapped, movement by an offensive lineman, still first down.
The other thing you want to do against the great teams when you've got an undefeated team like Tennessee, you want to take one dimension away. Either take the run game away or the passing game. Ron Zook and his defense have been able to take away one dimension of this offense right to this point, the running game.
3 times tonight, Tennessee has jumped off sides because of the noise. Ephesians Bartley is there to make the hit on Phillips. And it's going to be a second down and still about 12, maybe 13 yards to pick it up. Steve Bartley is another one who was very vocal this week in saying he was embarrassed. He was dissatisfied with the way he played last year up in Knoxville, and that he had waited all year for this rematch. Kids don't forget, do they?
No, nor do coaches and fans.
Again, they swing it out of the backfield. Oh, what a hit. That is Ephesians Bartley, who comes up and makes the stick on Mose Phillips. And it was right about that spot of the field in the game we were televising last year, where he took on tension and knocked him out.
That's just like that commercial. Steve Bartley sitting there. It's like the players come off and say they have ESP or something. I think he heard you. Steve Bartley, so. He's ready to play again that play.
Speaking of LSU, they lead huge in their ball game. Memphis State surprising Southern Mississippi tonight. 3rd down. Little Statue of Liberty. This is Faulkner. Gets a block. Crosses the 45, and I believe he's going to have, well, I don't know. He's going to depend on the spot of the football. He is very close as Carlton Miles, one of the first defensive players to come up along with Hatch to make the tackle.
Blocking the ball game.
Tennessee with a little trick and play here. You're going to see Kelly come back, and you're going to see Faulkner come around in the reverse. No back set. He has 2 tight ends. Shows like it's a pass. Here's the give. Now look at the lineman set up. It's almost like a screen pass to that point.
That's a good job by Miles, as he did not pick it up. You can see Miles was being double-teamed and still played off the blockers and got a headgear on him.
This is going to be a call now that Johnny's got to make with a short yardage. You're down 28-12. You're on the road. 4th and a half a yard. The last time they had this situation, it wasn't a 4th down, but the quarterback sneaked. So let's watch Andy Keller.
Tennessee leads in total yardage at this point of the ball game, 259-242, but they're down by 16 on the scoreboard. It is 4th down. They need just inches. He got it. Culpepper is underneath all of that. Kelly off the blocking by Zielinski, Fisher, and Stoll.
You're so right. He followed that threesome, and they were able to make the block.
And let's go to Craig James for an update.
Tennessee's offensive linemen have been saying that they would like to stick with the running game. They feel they can move Florida's defensive line out of there. There's still a lot of time left in the 3rd quarter. They can control the clock and keep their offense out there.
Craig, and your point is well taken. With still 10:43 left in this 3rd quarter and a 16-point difference, that also keeps the Florida offense off the field, which is not a bad idea. Screen over the middle, and that thing was almost picked off by Kevin Carter. He ran right through it.
Kevin Carter, true freshman along with Larry Kennedy. He read the middle screen right from the snap of the ball.
Minnesota 4-1, game number 4, top of the 4th inning. Mose Phillips comes into the ball game. You know, we might check with Craig. We didn't hear anything at halftime, but we haven't seen James Stewart since the 1st quarter, have we?
No, we haven't.
Florida now has 6 pass breakups in the ballgame. Right up in the middle, got Pickens there, hang on. Breaks the tackle and finally knocked down by Larry Kennedy inside the 20-yard line.
Now, I'm going to credit Phil Fulmer and Johnny Majors because I think their offensive game plan has been excellent. We talk about Carl Pickens, but when they've been doing exactly what they need to do. Here, Carl Pickens comes open against 2 deep coverage. He's right down the middle again. You'll see the 2 safeties converge on him. But Andy Kelly has made good choices. He's been able to go to Faulkner, McCluskey, Reeves. Everything except the running game is right on target for Tennessee's offense.
Swings it out. This is Phillips again. In the flat at the 50. Barkley is the man up on top who is dragging him back, but they'll give him forward progress down around the 14.
Ron, people sitting at home and we keep talking about the running game. They had 14 yards rushing in the first half. That's by design. Ron Zook's defense, when you have 8 people up there, they're telling you, go ahead and throw the football. We're going to take the run away. He's going to take one dimension away. He's taking the run away. So you have to beat him throwing the football with a good mix and good balance. And eventually it'll open up the run.
Well, Stewart has just come back into the lineup, number 33. Incomplete. Corey Fleming is the man he wanted. Fleming had a touchdown in that first half. Not a bad day for Andy Kelly. 20 for 31, 279 and a touchdown. His ball club trailing by 16, but right now they are down knocking on the door.
If they score a touchdown here, Ron, Phil Fulmer is going to have to go to his 2-point chart and come up with a 2-point play because they're going to need 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point plays to tie this game.
Third down. They need the 7. Faulkner on the reverse. Has a blocker in front. Has the first down, and it'll be stopped at the 5. First and goal, Tennessee.
Faulkner on the carry.
The reason that play is working is because the side that they're running to is the side that the outside backer, Myrick Anderson, number 26, is trying to double on Carl Pickens. So when Pickens releases, Myrick Anderson runs with him. So when Faulkner comes around the reverse, there's no outside linebacker there. That's why they're having success with that. Good play calling.
Florida might not have thought Faulkner was a big part of the offense tonight, but boy, has he ever been. Straight ahead. Stewart going to be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Guess who? 92, Darren Mickle. Big Darren said, I'm back, and I want everybody to know it. I'm back, I'm bad, and I'm feeling good.
He was a basketball player in high school. I went down to recruit him. I sat in the gym in the afternoon and watched him stuff the basketball, and I recruited him, and I might add again, unsuccessfully. But he was an outstanding athlete in high school.
He now has recorded 7 tackles in this game. Faulkner comes back into the lineup. Inside the 2 to the 1-yard line, and that's Keith Schuler, who had just come in at quarterback, the freshman out of Bryson City, North Carolina.
He's the option quarterback, and they like him in situations down on the goal line because the option's the extra added item on the goal line because Florida has done such a good job against Tennessee in the running game. Now the option poses them a few different problems they haven't practiced this week.
You can see Pickens is on the sideline, and the freshman directs the attack, this time for the 1.5. Schuler going to be hit and knocked down. And Mike, I thought there should have been a flag. I don't see one, is there? Mickle made the tackle. I thought there should have been a no play. I thought there was movement with the offensive line.
I still don't see a flag.
I don't
see
either.
The official who, unless he threw it up in the stands.
Well, the ball was snapped, movement by an offensive lineman, and still third down.
So they could not get the flag out of their pocket, or it was hidden one side of it.
Watch the right guard. A little bit of movement just
the left
before
guard
they snap the ball.
Myslinski and Stowell both trying to get a little advantage there, so the 5-yard penalty. Third down remains. Third down and goal in the new line of scrimmage just outside the 6.
Now you bring Andy Kelly back in to throw the football.
Pickens got railroaded. Del Spear is the man who speared him, and Tony McCoy was coming pell-mell after the quarterback.
Boy, Del Spear, number 4, is the person that's responsible for making sure this is not a completion. Andy Kelly a little high on the throw. Carl Pickens got his hands on it. Should have probably made that catch, but Dale Spears comes into him right as the ball is there to make it an incompletion.
Bexford to attempt from 23. He's got it. So, let's take a break. 7:28 left in the third quarter. The new score, Florida 28, and the Volunteers 15. We'll be right back. And I'm probably thinking as he visits with Philip Fulmer upstairs that 3 times Tennessee has been in what is called the red zone. They have come away with a couple of field goals. The other time they had a turnover on a fumble, but no touchdowns off those situations, Mike.
Right at the Florida defense. It's the bend but don't break theory.
This is going to be Kennedy from the 2. He must have stumbled for 12 yards. Somebody got a piece of his ankle. Here's what the scoring drive looks like. 13 plays, 55 yards, 5:27 time elapsed in Bexford. The freshman from Chattanooga with the 23-yard field goal. ESPN resumes its coverage of NFL's Sunday night action on October the 27th as the world champion New York Giants play host to the undefeated Washington Redskins. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann will be there for that key Eastern matchup on October the 27th, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Eric Rep out to the 35, and it's Ernest Fields who was there to make the stop.
Here you see now Florida's going to that same set that Tennessee uses. The 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Now they have a 6-man group to run against. So they're going to run the football. They're going to try to use this formation to get their running game going.
Play action, ball is tipped and caught by Sullivan. Alonzo Sullivan as the flag came down, and the quarterback, Shane Matthews, turns to the bench and says, Coach Spurrier, it's going to be offensive holding.
Holding during the play, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still second down.
Watch the Florida offense here. Watch the right guard, number 73. Sometimes when you get your hands to the outside and you got those blue hand pads on, the umpires see the blue hand pads, and right then, that's when the flag's going to go. Now, if you're a coach, you get upset because you always feel like holding can be called anytime. But, you know, that's what bothers you when you're coaching on the sidelines.
Either that or put white gloves on. And here's that reverse on the shuttle pass that they tried in the first half that was incomplete. Sullivan winds up with the football, and that one might draw a little dust, I would think. Maybe later on in the year, maybe against Florida State or somewhere down in there.
Well, see, every team will get this tape, so they'll see it, so they'll practice again. So watch Chuck Smith here, number 56. He's responsible for the reverse. He sees it coming. He bends back in and makes the tackle. His idol is Lawrence Taylor. He wore his jersey, a jersey replica. I know he didn't wear Lawrence's jersey because he has to wear it Sunday, but on Monday night, I believe, at Pittsburgh. But he is his idol, and he wore a jersey just like him in practice the other day.
Shane Matthews caught from behind, and it's the first time that he's been sacked tonight. And we were just about to say that Tennessee had brought in the 4 defensive ends, Smith, Kelly, Rogers, and Mims for the pass rush, and it was Todd Kelly who got him.
Good defensive move by Larry Lacewell. When you do that, the reason you bring on your 4 defensive ends, you take your 2 tackles out because they're very good pass rushers.
Mike, Edge has got a kick from very close to his goal line, and he just wants to make sure he gets it away. Now, Carter, extremely dangerous back there. Tennessee stands to get great field position out of this. And the ball's had the return now. Oh, he just banged another one. Carter all the way back to the 27-yard line. And Florida with the super coverage. Let's take a break.
4:57 left to play in this third quarter. Gators by 13. 28-15 our score. Florida on top. We talked about those 4 defensive ends coming in for Tennessee and what a great job they've done with pressure. We talked with Chuck Smith about what goes through his mind when it is 3rd and long for the opposition.
I look at the line and I see they're nervous. And when I get outside, it's just a whole nother ball game when it's 3rd and long. I just get happy. It's just like Christmas.
Well, you can see that jersey that Mike was talking about is a replica of that Lawrence Taylor jersey. Volunteers on offense, this time from the 37. Almost intercepted. Good heavens. 41, Ed Robinson was right there, and he can't believe it. It just, had it been on fire, would have burned a hole in his chest.
He couldn't have threw it to Eddie Robinson any better. Andy Kelly didn't see Ed Robinson coming underneath this route to see where he's trying to get the ball to Corey Fleming, and Ed Robinson came right underneath it.
2 weeks ago against Auburn, it was coverage from underneath that got him in trouble in the interception when Smith took it in for the Auburn Tigers to put them back in the ballgame. Yeah. Kelly swings it out of the backfield, incomplete, and I'll tell you who you can credit is Darren Mickle. He was away from the play, but he still was close enough. He got a big paw up in front to cause the running back not to be able to catch the football, and Hayden dropped it.
Hey, you just get yourself in, you dig the hole a little deeper in 3rd and long yardage, but the Florida defense has played well tonight. Johnny Majors needs a first down here bad. He had the momentum switching a little bit, but that punt by Shane Edge really set them back.
There's 2 of them tonight by Edge. 7 pass breakups for Florida tonight. Kelly will be sacked. 71, Tony McCoy. 2 times Kelly has been knocked down tonight. And Florida with the player shaken up. I think it's McCoy who made the sack.
Well, Tony McCoy just roars up here on the offensive line. Andy Kelly, again, good coverage. There's no place to throw the football, and Tony McCoy makes the tackle. Ron Rex Norris is the defensive line coach now for Tennessee. Used to be the defensive line coach for Florida. He's outstanding. He was at Oklahoma under Barry Switzer, but he teaches good pass rush techniques. And I saw some comments by Brad Culpepper, said he's not just my coach, he's my best friend when he was here. Chuck Smith said I was lazy when I went to Tennessee, and Rex Norris helped me. And he shows films of the Vikings and the 49ers and the Giants to his players on pass rushing schemes. But the respect that both these teams' defensive lines has for him is really impressive.
For McCoy, who is still down on the field and being checked over by the staff there, and he's going to be okay. They get him up. He has 4 tackles, 2 of those solos. And being told that he caught a helmet on his right knee, and the training staff is helping him off. See if he can pick it up. Yeah, there's a headgear on that knee. See if the Gators come after him again. Hutton at the 19, and they're coming after him, and the left footer bangs it away. And just like Edge, he really gets a big one. Back to the 15. Duncan, as the flag comes down, will be pushed out of bounds shy of the 30. 53 yards in the kick and 13 on the return.
I saw a clip where it's either holding on the return, so Florida will be backed up.
You know, both of these ball clubs to show you how they have every firepower that you look for. Edge has punted twice tonight, officially 56 and 56. Both putting Tennessee beyond midfield when they thought they'd get the ball in good field position. Hutton comes back after a block kick and boots that one 53 yards. And Johnny told me a funny thing 2 weeks ago. He said, you know,
Hutton during the run back, the first down and 10.
He said, Hutton is the first left footer I've ever had since I've been coaching. And he said, you know, I don't know why it took me this long, because when I played, I hated with a passion to try to return a left footer's kick because of that awkward spin.
Well, there aren't many, so you don't get to practice against him. And the spin's completely opposite. And Johnny's right, and he was a great punt returner.
said, I don't know why it took me so long. I said, if I disliked it so much, why wouldn't other return people dislike it?
His recruiting coordinator will be looking for all left footers across this country from here on in.
Little draw play with Rep this time. Squeezes his way for 4, maybe 5. Clock is now under 4 minutes. Gators leading 28-15.
Difference in the game so far, the 3 turnovers and the block punt. And then the inability of Tennessee and the ability of Florida to keep them out of the end zone 3 times. They're down in the red zone and inside the 10-yard line 2 times. And come away with just field goals.
Florida with 2 wide receivers and 2 tight ends on this formation. Incomplete. He wanted Aubrey Hill. And let's go back to Tim Brando for an update. Tim, what do you have for us?
Run out in Pullman, Washington.
Thanks, Tim. And they had to come from behind to do it. The last time we looked up there, Washington State was leading that football year.
The weekends are going to get a little tougher, too.
The weeks get a little shorter.
Oh,
it has nothing to do with daylight savings
Oh,
time.
unfortunately, Notre Dame ahead.
Matthews wide open over the middle. Got Red out of the backfield, and he will have the Florida first down +5.
Well, we talked about trying to get running backs on linebackers in cover 2. Here's who you're going to drop. Number 45 comes up and makes a tackle, but a good gain. Well, you're isolated when you have that back, that one back, and you're the middle linebacker, and he's got the whole field to roam.
Draw play again. Rep as a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Sean Walker is the man who wrapped him up.
Stop by Kelly. Flag.
Offense has only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
I still believe that's a tackle. Maybe somebody could find out from one of the officials, one of our sideline reporters, but I think it's because the tackle is lining up deep to try to get the extra edge against the defensive end.
Two minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Matthews zips this one out. Has it complete to Harrison Houston. He'll take it out to the 45-yard line, and that is another Florida first down. Gain of 16 yards. Sean Walker and Roderick Lewis are there defensively. By the way, Mike, at the end of the half, on that big play, when both 24 and 84 were going after the football, it was Houston who almost came away with a touchdown rather than 24. We saw that on the replay at halftime.
You see your tackle, the right tackle, how deep he is. I'm not sure whether they're calling him for that, but he's trying to get back a little bit. So is the left tackle to try to help them on pass protection.
Now a little mix-up on the play. Matthews will wisely go down, as Todd Kelly is there to cover him up, and it'll be a second down and long.
The other possibility could be, Ron, is the fact that they're using some receivers at tight end tonight, which you mentioned earlier, flexing them. So maybe they're lined up a little deep, and they're not in an ordinary position that they usually line up in.
Let me give you my next good heavens. Did you see Vanderbilt is leading Auburn, and that one is in the fourth quarter?
Well, I tell you, I live in Mobile, son. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people in Mobile.
It's not over. It's not over, but
they're still unhappy.
It was not by a bunch, huh?
Even though it's not over, but
he takes the draw, better get rid of it. And just as he does, that's number 56, Chuck Smith, who is right there on top of him.
Both their defensive ends, Chuck Smith and Chris Mims, came out of junior college football. When you look at their defense, you take Chuck Smith, number 56, Chris Mims, number 93, and number 18, Dale Carter, all junior college players that have helped this team turn around since 1988.
17 of 29, 2 touchdowns, 198 yards, and 2 interceptions. Those are the numbers on Shane Matthews tonight. Matthews going to go long for his running back, and it is intercepted by Floyd Milan at the 30-yard line. So the third down pass goes awry. Tennessee will take it over. I guess it's almost like a punt, though, Mike.
Puts him back inside the 35-yard line. Shane Matthews tried to go up on top to the corner route. You see the corner route, the receiver running it, the one that he scored the touchdown on earlier. Floyd Miley, who's a corner, didn't have anybody holding him in the flat, so he was able to sink and make the interception.
Somebody was in the wrong spot. You also could see number 5, Willie McClendon, was there in the area, which brought another defensive player there. Kelly zings it. Good pass for 10 yards to the 45-yard line. That's McCleskey, the junior out of Knoxville. And Del Spear comes over to make the stop.
Keep in mind one thing, Ron, that Tennessee's offense in the first ball games of the year that they've had, they've been able to hit the big play on special teams. Their defense has been able to turn in big plays. Their offense, Florida's been able to keep them away from the big play tonight to this point.
McCluskey now 3 catches, 49 yards as they go with the running play, and James Stewart just has had a very tough time tonight. Tony McCoy, the senior from Orlando, is there to wrap him up. Glad to see him back in the lineup. He injured that knee, got a ding on it just a moment ago, but he is back and healthy now, obviously.
Florida's had great success on first down defensively tonight. They've been able to make Tennessee always be in second and longs and third and long situations, which are tough to pick up.
Could be the last play of the third quarter. Out of the backfield, good for 15 yards is James Stewart. And the Vols keep it alive as they move it into Gator territory. They're going to spot him down at the 39.
Ron, remember I just talked about the reverse a little while ago. Craig Faulkner bringing it around. The reason it was open because Myrick Anderson, number 26, is following Carl Pickens down the field. Same concept here. Fake the play action to the right. The tailback comes right in the area where Carl Pickens clears out. Because they're doubling Carl Pickens, that's opening up that area to where Carl Pickens lines up.
8 seconds left in the period. Kelly going deep over the middle for Pickens, and intercepted by Will White.
Andy Kelly tried to go up on top on the post pattern to Carl Pickens, but Florida was sitting in a 3-deep zone, and there's Will White, number 2. Very difficult to throw that against a 3-deep coverage.
So let's take a break. Final 15 minutes just ahead, and the Gators up by 13.
I'll be vacation here 40 years.
40 years.
Before the legs dried up.
Remember Granddad?
Gainesville, Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and Craig James, glad to have you with us. And his crowd is loving it. Right now, it is Gator country. But Tennessee has 15 minutes to make amends. They trail by 13. Eric Rett running hard. That's Fields, number 23, who will step up and make the hit. And let's take one more look at the White interception this season, but he still came on, played great, and had an interception in that one. Eric Redd again. Fields on top, number 23, to stop him at the 10-yard line. Matthews just has to get rid of it. The pressure was coming from Shazan Bradley, number 40, the senior out of Athens, Tennessee. So Florida will have to give it up. An edge who has had the edge in punting tonight, a couple of 56-yarders, is going to be called on again because, again, from the line of scrimmage, it would appear that Tennessee would be able to get good field position. Let's see what he can do on this one as Carter drops off in a single safety.
Tennessee needs a big play on this special teams. They need something either for a score to go block the punt or return or to get great field position so they can get a touchdown quickly. Another dandy. Not quite as long, but it's a boomer.
back to the 39-yard line. Carter looks for a block, turns it up. Flag comes down, back downfield as he'll go inside the 35-yard line, but I think it's going to come back. As Myrick Anderson, number 26, was there to make the stop, and the Gators have a player down back at the 39-yard line. It really has. That penalty's about 30, 35 yards because the Volunteers take it over to 37. Should have been down deep in Florida territory. Aaron Hayden is a tailback. Kelly looking for Pickens and made the catch, or did he? Yes, with one hand, and a flag came down. Ephesians Bartley with the cover. Mike, the ball is incomplete. Pickens continues to talk with even the defensive players as they come down the field.
Defensive pass interference will be 15 yards from the previous.
Here's Carl Pickens in motion. He's going to run